And these are 1 1/4 by 3/4. And it's just going to be lovely. So in total you'll be able to fit 120 square cubes in just this little unit, which I think is just such a nice little piece. So that is where my kind of idea for it has come for these, but I'll show you in this one here. There's the other cubes that I've got. All right, so it just, you know, because if you've had other kits in the past, you get all these little things, you know, these little the drop ones. These are from Hobbycraft, but they're actually, some of them are some really nice colours, and I just forget to kind of go to them, whereas this now can sit just, it's going to sit just to the right of me, so it's quite nice to be able to grab the smaller ones, because my bigger ones are just behind me. So yeah, it's nice for that. And then I've got the bottom one there as well, so you've got more room. So I have lined these ones. That middle one I've got to line. That's the only one. Yeah, this one I still need to line the inside of, but it's completely covered in this absolutely stunning paper. And then that's what I was meant to show you. So if you do want to keep it just as a shelving piece, then you've got that, and that would look lovely. But also when you've made one, you could make a few, so you could have maybe 2 or 3 of these stacked up just for shelving. So you might have papers that you want to put on here. Obviously the size for this, it's going to be 6 by 6 that you have to put in, because it's coming in at 7.5. So if you do want to make yours for 8 by 8, you'd have to extend these pieces and obviously adapt a few more of the other measurements. But you could also just have maybe, you know, 1 drawer and the rest as shelves. So it's really nice that you've got the option to play around with it. And I'm certainly thinking now of extending so that this is on top and then I have a shelving piece on the bottom maybe, or double the drawers. I don't know, it's really nice now that once you've done this and you see how to do it, it's very easy to adapt and to make, you know, bigger, smaller, whatever. But it's also given me a lot more inspiration to make some beautiful desk storage pieces that are going to last. You know, this stuff, once you've added your paper, I've used Collal glue over all of this, and it's just strengthening to become a really strong piece. It will make a beautiful gift, or just make it for yourself, which I've done for me. It's using one of my favourite paper pads, which I'll show you in a moment. So it's nice to use it on something that I'm going to get to appreciate, and everything just works so well. So let me show you how to make this really lovely piece of storage. Okay, so this is the paper pad I've used. It's a 12 by 12, A Touch of Romance by the Paper Tree. I got this one at Craft Stash. It should still be available because it isn't a Christmas paper, so hopefully those ones, you know, will still be there, because I think most people have obviously been buying Christmas papers of late. So this one I have used before, and it's just so pretty, and I wanted to, again, I do say it a lot, but when you've got a beautiful paper, some people don't like to cut into it. If I'm making something for myself, then I love to cut into the papers, and this is just going to be a really pretty storage piece in my craft room with this gorgeous paper. So yeah, that's what you'll see throughout. So first of all, I've got lots of pieces here, and I've already done 2 of the drawers. So what I would say is, when you're making this, is make your drawers first, because what you can do from there is, when you start to build the case, if you are slightly out with any of the measurements, you can adapt it. Whereas if you make the case first and then you find your drawers don't fit, it's just going to be very frustrating. So it's always best to do the drawers first, and plus you may well be making yours bigger, you may be making it longer in terms of the drawer size. So once you see how this is put together, there's lots of ways to adapt it, which I know many of you will do. So here I have what's needed for one of the drawers, and then everything here is what we need to construct the main case that it's all going to come in, and I will talk you through all of that. So I've used the 5mm foam board. I get mine from Hobbycraft. I get the A3 size, and it's either 3 or 4 sheets that you get for £10. I'm still using the same ones that I purchased originally, which I've made many of my Christmas projects with, and I have this project and another one still to come as well, using the same amount of that. And I've got lots of offcuts now, bits like this, which I'm keeping in like a tub, so that then if I do need to go and make any smaller bits and pieces, these will come in handy. It's very easy to make. So you're going to need 3 pieces for the base of each drawer, and this will all be listed in my blog like this. So I will list the measurements for the drawers, then I'll list the measurements for the shelves, because you can also have this, as I've mentioned, as a separate shelving storage piece, and I will then list all the measurements just for the, you know, the main kind of case that it all sits in, just so it's easy for you to follow. And especially if you're doing it in like over a few days, you might want to do the drawers one day and so on, so it'd be easy for you to follow. So you want 3 pieces, base of the drawers, that are 7 1/4 by 6. All right. Now, obviously, these measurements that I'm giving you were based on me being able to fit this amount of cubes going along and then 4 going along this side, so that you can fit, what did I say it was, 5, 10, 15, 20, so 40 cubes per drawer, which I thought was a nice amount. Okay, so then you want 2 pieces for the sides, and these are going to be 5 3/4 by 1 7/8 of an inch. Okay, and they're going to go here. Then you want, these 2 are slightly different sizes because the front of the drawer actually will stick along the front of the base. Okay, just so we get more room within this piece. So this is for the front of the drawer, and this is 2 1/8. So you see it's slightly wider by, again, by 7 1/4. And then this is for the back of the drawer, and this is the same as the side. So this is 1 7/8 of an inch, and it's that same length again, 7 1/4. So first of all, get the largest, you know, that 2 1/4 piece, and you're going to stick it on the front here. Okay, so we're going to run glue along there, and we're going to stick it along the bottom of that piece there. So tip for this as well, when you're gluing larger areas, like when I done my advent, a few people were saying that they couldn't glue the whole area before the glue had already started to set. I don't have that problem because I leave my glue gun on for a good half an hour before I start any of these projects. When it's that hot, the glue will take a good 5 minutes to completely set rock hard. I want it to get really, really hot. So this has been on a long time. I've made sure I've got a nice, you know, long glue stick in there. So again, along this bit here, and you're only doing this on the, and I can see just how runny that glue is. It's just not going to set, and it gives you a lot of time to reposition. So do, yeah, top tip, leave your glue gun on, you know, a little bit longer before you start. So there it is, and then you're just going to stick this piece along there and let the glue ooze out, because what you can do is wipe it away again just before it's kind of set. It won't burn you, it will just be warm to touch, but you can easily kind of rub it away. So just make sure you keep it on a nice right angle, like so, and then I can just go along here and just, it will kind of like peel off, and just get those lumpy bits off. Don't worry about, you know, any other, if, you know, there's the odd bit, you can always pick it off with your knife, your cutting knife, but also you're going to cover it with paper, so don't worry too much. If you get any lumpy bits as well here, just go in with your pokey tool, and again you'll be able to kind of pick it away like so. Alright, because some of those pieces may well interfere with your paper when you're going to cover it inside, so just kind of, yeah, just get your pokey tool in there and just take away any of those clumpy bits. You shouldn't have too much. You don't want to go crazy with the glue because it's hot enough, it will spread, but just take away any of the bulk. But now you'll see that's the front of one of our drawers. Next you want to stick the sides, which are going to go inside and on top of this piece, and then the base, then the back one will go on top along there, like so. And then again go right up to the edge, and just, you've got time there to move it right up and squeeze in the sides there. And again, I can just rub that off there. Okay, and do the same on that end. And now this piece will go and sit along the back, like so. Alright, so what you want to do is run some glue. Yeah, if you run your glue just right on the edges there, and then along the bottom. Again, keep everything at a right angle, so you can move this, you know, foam. So it is a nice material to work with. So the more I've started to use this, the more I'm really enjoying it. Okay, and there's my drawer. Now I've obviously gone a little bit off when I went to cut this one here, because can you see it slightly goes down? That's not going to interfere with the stuff inside because I've given you room, you see there, so that you can get your fingers in and pull things out, but it will also helps if you are slightly off. But when you've got something like that, because I want to cover it with my paper, I'm just going to bring in my knife just to tidy it up. I'm going to use that one. And because this is the back, so the front is the piece that is stuck, you should have it looking like that, nice, you know, just one piece, whereas on the back you'll see the foam, so make sure that's the front. But with the back piece, what I've done on all of them is I've gone in with my knife on an angle, and it just kind of tidies it all off anyway, cuts away any kind of glue that you might have. So I'm just going to go all the way along and just trim that off. So now you've got that kind of angled piece, you see there? And it's also just tidied that up now. So you wouldn't have, you wouldn't have known, because this is the front, this is all okay. That's just where you're pushing it in. So I'd rather that was all kind of tidied off at the back. So that is a tray. So you want to do it 3 times. So the time consuming part with this project is cutting all your pieces and obviously making sure you keep everything nice and straight. Once you've done these pieces, the decoration's really fun. So you want to do that 3 times, so that then you will have your 3 like this. Then you want to cover it all. So the way you cover it is, to be honest, completely up to you, and you don't even have to cover all inside. I just quite liked seeing that in there, and obviously not everybody's going to use it for their cubes, and I may well end up changing it, you know, in months to come, because I love to move my craft room around. Does anybody else do that? I do. Anyway, so you know, I may find that I want to put something else in here. So decorating the inside is optional, but the front piece, all I've done for that one is you can cover them all separate and then stick them together. That's, you know, entirely up to you as well. But all I've done is I've just ran some of my thin red tape along the top of this piece. Again, I'm working on the front, so that's solid piece. And just trim that off. And then I've just cut a piece of card or paper here from that pad, and this is the same length of this piece here, so it's 7 1/4. Okay, and then I've done it by 4, but that's, you know, again, you don't have to. You basically want to be able to stick this on the front. It's going to wrap around the front and then just tidy under here. I'm going to cover the underside of this at a later, you know, you don't need to watch me do that on camera, but you can see that I've covered underneath, obviously all the sides and everything, but you just measure them and cut your paper to size, so that's easy to do. So I'm just going to take the backing off of that piece, and then I'm just going to use, I've used my Kalau glue for all of this, and it's worked really, really well. Because this is a shiny surface, I thought, I don't know if it's going to really be the best one to use, but actually it has, and it's added that strength as well, which the Kalau does. So just need to refill this one. I'm just going to cover all the front, and I'll add the glue to the underside in a moment, but I'm just going to stick this along there and then just wrap that around, and then I'm just going to add glue to the overhang of that pattern paper and stick it underneath. You can just push it down like so, and then just add some pressure from the top side. Okay, and that's the front decorated, because I know a lot of people will just do that. They're not going to be bothered by any of that, and that is all you're going to see. But I wanted to do a contrast, so that is going to be my middle drawer, so that again it just shows off more of the nice papers. But can you see now when they stack, and once I've added my little butterfly handles, it's going to look so sweet. So that moves me on nicely to the handles. Now these here I picked up from a shop called Biology, but they are, I believe, by just that craft brand, the one that's stocked in the range. It's stocked in where's that other place, like the Works, things like that. So they are just brads, but they're really thick metal ones. So I put some hot glue behind that piece, pierced them in, and then kind of, you know, bent the insides, and it's just given me these really nice little handles. So you know, look at other things you might have. You don't have to buy proper handles, although you can with these. You can get the ones with the screw. You can screw them in. You don't want to go too tight with the screw because it's a foam. Obviously, although it's a hard foam, you don't want to obviously push it too much. But even just some really strong, you know, glue, use your hot glue, and just a nice button or a bead or something will look lovely there. And I know lots of you will probably have some great ideas. So to get the positioning, all I've done is I've put my ruler along. So this is just over 2 inches high. I just put my ruler so it sits, you know, along the bottom of the drawer there. And then I came in at 2 inches. And then again on this side here, so it's 7 1/4, although that's just, this is a different ruler. See that ruler, it says 7 1/4, this one it's just a smidge under. So I'm just going to move that so it is at 7 1/4, and then just come down 2 inches, which will be 5 1/4. And I'm just putting a little marker there with my pokey tool, and then I just pierced using the metal on these because it's so strong, and that's how I just put it into place. So let me just push that one in. So you can see now I've just kind of pierced through, but as I push it in, I'm going to put some hot glue in there so that stays attached. So again, this one here. And the nice thing with this is you can change these, you know, if they do over time, because I'm, you know, probably going to be going to this quite a lot, you know, they probably will end up coming away or loosening. I can put a different, you know, you can just put another piece of pattern paper on, you can change it, so it's easy to kind of, yeah, change with your mood kind of thing and your style. So I'm just going to go in here, pull it out a little bit further. There we go. I'm just going to pop some hot glue in there because you won't see any of it. And then just push that down. Okay, so they're all nicely secured now, and then inside you just push them in. I just use my pokey tool. You can kind of do it yourself, and then just push it down over each other, and then just cover it with your pattern paper. Like so. So they're nice and flat, and you can see there, once it's all covered, you don't see anything. So, you know, the paper to cover the back of this is 7 1/4 by, you know, the width of what you've done. But because I've gone in on an angle there, you want to measure from that piece, so it's just coming in under 6. But it's easier for you to measure it yourself and cut to what you need, because I don't want to give you that measurement and yours might be a little bit bigger, and then you've wasted paper because you've cut it smaller. So it's very easy to do, and like I said, I think most people will just do this way anyway. Yeah, so get to that point, all your drawers done and all decorated nicely, and now we're going to move on to the case. Okay, so what you want to do first of all is you want to decorate the lid and the base. So these are both the same size. And these pieces measure 7 by 8 1/4. All right, so 2 pieces. Now you don't have to have foam board for the base. You might want to use grey board, you might use something different, but I've already gone ahead and covered this one. Now I don't know whether it's going to be the base or the lid, so it does look nice against the floral print of that bottom drawer. You just see there, obviously everything will be stuck better later, but then it would look nice as the lid as well because that's floral. So I'm just looking through my pad here just to see whether I go plain or not, or I might do something with this stripe but have a little bit of the floral print kind of coming in. See, that could look really pretty and you get to see that on top. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. So I'm going to do, so I've still got that stripy element. I'm going to keep that one on the bottom, have this for the top. And you just cover them just like I would an album cover for a mini album. So I'm just going to bring this down because obviously I want to make sure I get that nice corner of that spray, but then the rest is going to be stripy. So if I just fold that there, I would say have 1 inch overhang. So you want a piece of pattern paper that's going to be, so it will be 1 inch on each side, so 8, so 10 1/4 by 7, 8 by 9. Okay, so I'm going to get this cut down. Okay, so I've just trimmed that down, and then you just want to stick this in the middle of that piece of paper that you've just cut. And you're going to do this twice because, like I said, the base and the lid are exactly the same size. I'm just going to fill up my bottle here. Yeah, that's better. That's what I use. That's the 1000 ml one that I buy. It works out much better value for money, and then I just decant it into this smaller bottle. So just cover all of your side and just try and get it as close to the middle, really. Like I said, you want about that 1 inch overhang. And then I'm going to stick this again, the corners all the same way, so I just cover about 1 inch down and then all of that, so the 3 kind of pieces there, and then just bring it in on an angle and stick it down so you get a square stuck on the actual foam board. And again, like I said, if you're using, you can use grey board for this, you don't have to use the foam if you don't want to. And then I'm just going to bring in, pop a little bit of glue actually, so it's along the side there as well. In fact, just lift that up. You want to put some glue on the sides of that piece as well. I'm just going to let that grab and just go around and do all the other corners. And then I can just go back to the one at the beginning and just kind of start to shape that card or paper around the foam board there. And then you just want to add glue over all of the side and along the side of the foam board, and then I just like to use my bone folder and just kind of come under first of all, just kind of start it off there, but just lift it around and then you just fold it all over and just let that all do its thing, and you'll get a really nice cover, and it'll be nice and strong as well. Okay, and then you can just kind of push the corners with your bone folder and it will make them all the same, nice and, you know, rounded, and just push it like so. I'm really pleased with that. I love the way I've just got that nice little part there. So, oh, it looks so pretty. Oh my gosh, this looks absolutely adorable, and it's not even finished yet. But look, if I just bring that up, hang on, I'm trying to just get it roughly how it's going to look. Look, isn't that lovely? Can't really tell, but anyway. So yeah, I'm going to go for that on top. It makes me want to add like a nice little handle, even though I'd never do that, but it's almost like I want it to be like a little carry kind of vanity or something. Anyway, so you'll do that twice so you have the base. I just need to do my corners there. You may want to put your little metal corner protectors on this. You can. It's much thicker than the grey board ones that I use, so whether they will go over this, you might have to look at the measurements and get deeper ones, but you can certainly do that. Okay, I love this bit now because I get to put it all together. So next we need to do, let me just think about this, the order we want to do this all in. Okay, so I think it's going to be the sides and the shelves. The back will be the last piece to go on. So you want your base one, and then you're going to want to cut two pieces which will be the sides, and these are 6.5 by 7, and then you'll have, so that's those two, and then you'll have two shelves. So you'll see I've covered these both differently. I covered that one first and I thought it's a bit of a waste covering all of it because you're not going to see it. However, if you do want to make this as the shelving storage, which I said at the beginning, then you will want to cover it all because you will see all of that. But I haven't done underneath unless someone's going to inspect it. But because mine's for drawers, I've only done it that little way because that's all you're going to see, because these are going to go. So your first drawer is just going to slide off of the base piece, but then in between each one will be one of these little shelves that it will sit on. So the nice thing about this one is that when you pull the drawer right out, none of your other drawers will collapse down like some storage. So, and they will be slightly shorter, so these will sit back from the drawer, so the drawers look like they're kind of popping out, and it will be like that. So again, if I just push that down, so you can see we've got them in between the drawers. So I just thought it just gave it more of a finished look. Now these shelf pieces are slightly, ever so slightly longer or wider than the length here of your drawer. You need them to be that little bit longer so that they can stick to the side of the case and the drawer can slide out nicely, but you don't want them to be so big that there's a gap. So although there will be a slight gap, but here, so you want two pieces. Mine are 7 3/8 of an inch by 6 1/8 of an inch, and the length of your drawer is 7 1/4. So I've gone 1/8 of an inch longer, and then that'll basically give you 1/16 of an inch on each side, but that's enough for the drawer to be able to kind of go in and out really nicely. So I'm going to take that one back again. What you want to do is you want to stick these sides on here. You can cover these afterwards. You don't need to cover them now. I'm going to have rope sides on them, so I'll make sure that sticks out just so that you don't see anything if I do take the drawers out. But these are going to stick along the bottom here, so you're going to be sticking so that you have it, it's the 6.5 inch, you know, base. That's what you want to stick along. You don't want to stick along the 7, okay, because that will be the wrong side. Okay, so what you want to do first of all is grab one of the side pieces and one of your shelves. Okay, so get them covered so you know where you are, and just write on it shelf, right sides when you cut them, okay, because it will make it easier for you. And you want one of your drawers, okay, and what you're going to do is sit your drawer down on the base piece here so that it is, you know, in the center and towards the front. Don't worry, you know, too much about that for the minute. Stick one of these on top. You want to make sure that the front of the shelf is flush with the front of this side piece, okay, so like So get it to the front of the drawer, first of all. Trying to make sure that I'm giving you the most simplest steps. It's at the front of the drawer. Don't worry about the overhang, ignore all that, because what you're going to do is you're just going to run glue along the side of that piece, okay, the shelf. Don't touch the drawer. The drawer is there as a guide to make sure that you stick it so that you're getting it as, you know, at the right height. Okay, so there's my hot glue. Then you've got your side piece, I want that on the outside, and it's gonna, I'm gonna move that and you want to bring the drawer so it runs flush with the bottom of the side piece, and that shelf is flush with the front here. So now I can drop the drawer away and we've got that where we need it. It will not go to the end. You want that because we've got the back to put on, and that's where that will go. But again, at this point I would go in and take away any excess because you don't want it to get in the way of the drawer. Okay, so, and while it's still that little bit warm, it will just rub off. Okay, so again, pop that in, and you'll see once this base piece we stick to the bottom of this, you've now got the perfect opening for your drawer, and there'd be that tiny little gap, which is the 1/16, which is what you want. So now you've done that one, you can move the drawer. I wouldn't do the same, probably, well, actually you should do the drawers that you're going to have, just in case you have cut them slightly different. So I'm just going to bring that one in and make sure it should all be fine. Yeah, I'm going to have that one on the bottom because that one seems to fit well. So that is going to be my middle drawer. So I'm now going to pop that drawer there and bring in the next shelf. Okay, so again, line the shelf up with the front of the drawer, then get your hot glue and just again put glue along the side of the shelf, not the drawer. You're not adding any glue to your drawers. And then this time you're going to pop the drawer in like so, and then pop the shelf on, making sure that that is again flush with the front. And now once the other side's done, but you see how nicely that's going to come out, and it's got a nice finish at the front there. So now you'll have your two drawers. Now the last one you don't need to do anything with because that's going to be the lid. So that's the trickiest part of this. Now what you want to do is grab your other side piece and you're going to stick that on the other side here. But I would say keep the middle drawer in there just so that you keep this nice and straight. See, like so. So, and grab the base one I think I'm going to need as well. So again, keep that drawer in there, and I'm going to just run hot glue, and then I'm just going to put it on the base and then just stick that to the side. So I'd use the base just so you can make sure you get them even, because you don't want to stick it down too far on one side and then not enough on the other. Now I can put that one there. That's the bottom one, which is going to go nicely there. Top one is going to go in there, and it all fits. Oh my gosh. And this is then the end. This is the top one, which should, I'm just trying to lift this up so you can see it all. Oh, without that all falling out, so I need to put the back on. I just can't, well, I can't, well, yeah, I just can't believe it has all actually come together how I wanted it to. Isn't it lovely? Oh my gosh, I love it. Right, now we need to cover, we need to put the back on. So the back's really easy. So all you want to do, let's take all these drawers out. So all you're going to do is run glue along here and here, and then stick that on the back, and it will be the exact, you can see there, it's the exact height as your side piece. This is, I don't think I gave the measurements for this one, this is 7 7/8 of an inch by 7. Okay, so I'm just going to run hot glue. This will help kind of square everything off and just really strengthen it. You know, do pull out the foam board. It has got some movement to it. So this is what you will have if you don't want to do the drawers. And that one, we'll just stick that on top in a minute. But you will have this nice shelving piece. And that does look lovely. And you could stack one of these. You could make two and you could stack this on top of your ink storage. You could put little paper pads in this. In fact, I didn't think about, well, because obviously the measurements I've done, but 7.5, you could have put 8 by 8 in there. So again, if you do want to experiment with the measurements and go bigger and stuff like that, but this could become a full-on kind of really nice storage unit. You could certainly go taller with it, and you know, make the measurements work for your kind of space and where you're putting things. So I'm now going to, I'm going to add glue along these top pieces here. And make sure that glue gun is nice and hot, and you will have plenty of time to be able to do all of these sides. I can still see that is really hot. And then you want to stick this piece on, and it will overlap all of your sides. So just make sure you've got a nice equal overhang. Oh, I adore this so much. Oh my gosh, I really am in love with this. Now also, we're going to wrap paper around the sides. If you want to do that before you stick the lid on, you might find it a bit easier to cut, but it's fine this way as well, like so. And then flip it over, and I'm going to get another glue stick, and you want to do the same with the base. And then you want to stick it on the base exactly the same way, so with a nice even overhang. You should bring it so that the back's running nice and flush. There we go. Yeah, perfect. I've got a little bit of glue that's oozed out there. It's on the back, so you're not really going to see that, and I think actually I've just got away with it. Yeah, I've rubbed it off so you don't see that, but really kind of push down on there and just try and get away any of that glue that might have oozed out the side. And there is your shelving piece. Alright, I think I must have cut a bit funny there, but I'm going to wrap that in paper now, but I can pop my drawers all in. I think that one was on the bottom actually. So there you go, they're all, I've got stuff in there so it keeps sliding, but now you can see they slide out really nicely. The more you use them, obviously they need to kind of, yeah, just get settled. But then you want two pieces that are 7 by 8 in pattern paper, and the 7-inch side will sit perfectly along there. But you also want to add a strip of the tape, just like I did on the drawers, along the fronts here. Again, you might wanted to have decorated them before. You can do. I don't know, you can do it this way, and that way you're not really wasting any paper in places where it's not going to be seen, but it is up to you. I still need to decorate the inside of that last drawer, so I'm just going to take the tape off of that one, and then I'm going to cover this whole side with cloud glue. And then just the same way, I'm going to stick that so it runs nice and straight along that side. Stick that all down, and then just kind of fold it over so you get a really nice finish, and then it will just follow down the side there. And a minute, use your bone folder or something to just make sure you've got no air bubbles and that's all nicely covered. Watch my drawers don't fall out, and then just finish it on the back with another bit of glue, and then you can just stick that down, and then we'll do the same on the other side, and then you'll just cut a separate piece of pattern paper for the back, and that will conceal these little tabs here, or leave it. Again, it's entirely up to you. Sometimes when you're making stuff for yourself, I'm a bit lazy with decorating inside because I just think, oh well, it's only for me. But a lot of these things people make, they sell, or they, you know, make for gifts. This would make a beautiful gift. It really would. If you know the colour scheme of somebody's, maybe their bedroom or their craft room, then I think this would make a lovely gift. So I'm now going to stick and do the same on the other side. Okay, and then just the last piece. This is 7 3/4 by 7, and I'm going to add the glue to the back of this. And as I always say, whenever you make these kind of things, if there's any edges and they're maybe not to how you wanted them to be, they look a bit rough, you can cover it with ribbon trim, pom-pom trim, embellishments. I can't use skinny tinsel anymore because that was my go-to for the Christmas projects, but you know what I mean. There are ways to disguise, you know, bits and pieces. You might have other little ideas for little scenes and other little kind of figures or trees, you know, some flowers. There's all kinds of things you can use, but now that will cover that perfectly. I absolutely adore this paper. It's just stunning. And again, once that glue sets, those of you that use the Collal now, it will just, this whole piece will become so strong. I just need to make sure my drawers aren't going to slide out. So there you have it. Doesn't that look absolutely gorgeous? I really am so pleased with this. Now you could put it on feet. Like I said, you could stack another one on top again. So, I mean, you may want to have this as another base and then go from there, or you could just make these sides longer and go up from that point. Mine's got a few little flaws, like that side there doesn't go right down as much as I would have wanted, but I'm really not that worried. It's a lovely handmade piece. Yeah, you put a handle on that, you could turn it into a really lovely vanity, and there are just so many ways to evolve this and to add to it. It's certainly given me now more inspiration to make some really nice desk storage in other ways. So it's so nice now that I know that all of my mini cubes can be stored in this, because I've got, like I said, this will hold 120 of those square ones, but then lots of other things as well. So, but the drawers, they come out really nicely, and I've got a few other obviously bits in here as well, but it's all moved around, so I need to you know, do that again, and I need to line the inside of that one just to finish it off. I've got lots of scraps from that paper pad. Hope you like my storage idea for the Papercraft Society cubes. That's what's inspired it. And for those of you saying to me, Sam, why don't you make one? Why didn't I think of that? So I hope you like what I've come up with. It's nice and simple, but I like that you've got the, you know, the option to just have it as shelving. I'm still, whether or not I will evolve this, if I feel I need to add more, I might add shelving to the top of this. I think that could look quite nice, or maybe to the bottom, so that I still get to see that lovely pattern paper, and then you've got shelves underneath this. I think that could look, yeah, I think that could look really nice. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you have, and consider subscribing to my channel so you get to see more fun tutorials. As always, all of this will be shared below in my links and on my blog, all the product and everything that I've used. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.